Great. So I'm sort of old school and I like to send snail mail. I happen to know GovWaltz's address from previous advocacy I've done. So let's go ahead and print this, or rather save it so I can print it later. Perfect. I can't wait to get this in the mail. Let's go ahead and navigate back so we can actually send this email here. Perfect. So this opened up my email client here, has all the addresses that we selected. Sending a copy to myself here, that's cool. And the email exactly as we created, perfect. So let's go ahead and just send that and advocate today, why not? Cool. So now I see you've got an option to share here. I know we found out about this letter on Twitter, but I kind of feel like my Facebook friends are going to be more aligned in value. So I'll go ahead and share it with them so they can jump in. Great. Looks like the Green Neighbor logo, website, everything's there. And to be honest, this is the easiest form of advocating I've done in the last 6 months. This is super cool. That's pretty much it for the front end of our letter builder. I'm going to pass things off to Paul, who's going to talk about the Green Neighbor team and how they're going to work with our app.
Cool. Thank you, Patrick. So my name is Paul, and I'm a part of the Green Neighbor staff. My job is to make sure our letter builder is up to date so that our users have the most current information regarding green laws in their state. I have a set task list of things to do on the admin side of things here, so I'll go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is click admin login down at the bottom, and I'll enter in my username and password. And I get brought to the admin landing page here. So as a result of our letter builder, Minnesota decided to update their renewable portfolio standard stuff. So I'm going to go and select Minnesota from the dropdown, click edit for the state policy info. And I'll go ahead and update the renewable portfolio standard. They're updating to 60% by 2030, so good for Minnesota. I'll go ahead and click save. And now that information is saved for our users. The second thing on my list is that we found some updated contact information for Michigan. So I'm gonna switch over to Michigan here, click edit for state information, and I'll enter in that new Public Utilities Commission email. Looks good, I'll click save for that too. Awesome, everything's updated for Michigan now. And now I just have one more thing left on my list here. At our last staff meeting, we decided to add the Citizens Utility Board policy to our policy list for our users to advocate in their state. This will allow residents to access green energy, even if their power company doesn't provide it for them. So I'll go ahead and select the policy list tab. I'll click add new policy. And I'll go ahead and enter the name of the policy, a short description, a long description, and some language for the letter builder. Perfect, that looks good. I'll hit submit. And that's all my admin tasks for the day. I'll go ahead and pass it back to Riley to wrap up our presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. And thanks to Patrick and Jenny as well for walking us through the application. So just to kind of bring it all back, our application will allow users to learn about green energy policies and what each policy entails. It will enable users to be the change and create letters and petitions regarding these policies, and to connect them with their state representatives to advocate for the policies that mean the most to them. We want to give our deepest thanks to the Green Neighbor team, Andrew, Lily, and David, for giving us such an amazing opportunity to work on such an important application. We also want to extend our thanks to Prime Digital Academy, and more specifically to Dane and Chris for being such amazing teachers. If you want to learn more about the Green Neighbor Challenge, you can visit them at their website, greenneighborchallenge.com, or you can search Green Neighbor Challenge on any social media platform. So once again, we are Riley Webster, Jenny Schubert, Patrick Mazurek, and Paul Bicey. Thank you.
Cool beans.
Woo! Beans.
Whoa. Bravo. Thank you, Team Green Neighbor. So that's a pretty impressive piece of software that they developed. And I want to kind of point out that a lot of the stereotypical software engineers out there, or at least portrayed by the media, are like people in hoodies, and hoodies are fine, but like sunglasses in a basement, all by themselves, like building Facebook. And it's just not the case. Part of the program that we implement here is that group work is core to the entirety of the profession, and something that we focus on very much. So we want to make sure that everybody knows, like, this is a group effort and they knocked it out of the park. It looks like our next group is ready for it, so I'll get out of the way. Let's give it up for Team Kudo Renmei.
Thank you so much, Dane. Can you see my screen and hear me?
All good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming today, everybody. My name is Emerson Agard, and along with Carl Beck, Hanan Mir, and Alex Severson, we are Team Kudo Renmei, and we are here today from the cohort Rabin.
Cool
beans.
Queens.
And today we would like to present our web app that we've been working on, the American Kudo Renmei portal. Before we get into the app, I'd like to give you a little bit of background on Kudo, which is the Japanese martial art of archery. So although Japanese archery has been around for thousands of years, contemporary international Kudo practice has only really been established for about the last 70 years as it's currently practiced. Students of Kudo learn to use the yumi, which is a traditional Japanese longbow, and they use this with handmade arrows to strike targets typically 28 meters away. A primary component of a student's training is that they must develop a great deal of focus and concentration in order to guide their arrows towards the target without the aid of sights or other modern mechanisms. Practitioners of Kudo study at a dojo, which is the training facility for Kudo study, where bows, targets, and other equipment can be stored and set up. Over the course of their studies, students will be given successive ranks, designating a relative level of skill that they have achieved as an archer. So as regards our app, Carly Bourne, who is president of the Minnesota Kudo Renmei and vice president of the American Kudo Renmei, has been looking for a way to replace the AKR's current method of managing membership information, which relies on Excel spreadsheets and has proven difficult to coordinate between administrative staff. Carly asked our group to develop a web application that would both allow for new members to input their relevant contact and training information, as well as for administrative staff to be able to review a member's information and potentially modify it. Some tasks that administrators may need to complete when using the app are updating membership dues payments, moving students to new dojos or deactivating them if they move or leave the AKR, and creating new dojos in the database with unique leadership and membership. And just a little bit about the American Kudo Renmei, or Federation. The American Kudo Renmei is effectively structured as a group of regions throughout the United States, each of which contain at least one dojo where students and teachers practice and study at. Because of the wide age range of Kudo practitioners, we needed to make sure that the interface that we designed was simple and straightforward enough to be intuitive to both elderly users as well as students who may be so young that they only access the internet via their phones. Now, in order to present the app to you proper, I would like to pass the presentation along to Alex Severson. Alex?
Thank you, Emerson. I'm Alex, and I'll be taking us through registering as a new member to a dojo. So I have a friend who's been practicing Kudo once a week for many, many years now and very experienced. And he's got me to love it. And I love going and practicing. I finally talked to my instructor and want to make this a more permanent thing. So they have instructed me or asked me to go onto the portal and register up. So I'll go ahead and register my name and password. Awesome. And I see there's a form of a bunch of basic information. So I'll go ahead and fill all of this out. I also noticed that there's katakana. My friend who's been going taught me that katakana is just the Japanese form of my name, and he taught it to me. So I will put that in too. That looks great. Okay, so then I'll scroll down and make sure that everything else is filled out appropriately. Great, and now I'll select my dojo, which is gonna be the Minnesota Kudo Renmei. Okay, and I see there's current member, so I'm gonna click on that because I wanna just see what's up with this. Years practiced, I'm just starting, so I don't need to worry about that. Kudo rank, I know that I start out as Mudan, which basically means that I don't have a rank yet. And I've been instructed that it takes about a year to get the first rank, so I'm not going to worry about that. And everything else looks good, so I'll go ahead and just unclick that current member box and submit my information. Success, that's perfect. So I'll go ahead and close out of this. And I see that I'm inactive, so I'll go ahead and let my instructor know that I've signed up, and I'll just wait for them to activate me. Now I will log out, and I will pass the next portion of this presentation on to Carl.
Thanks, Alex. Today I'll be showing you all the view of our application as a member that has been activated and has been attending Qdo for many years now. So I'm logging in today to actually update my ranks. I just passed my first teaching exam, and I need to go update my information. So first things first, I need to log on in. Awesome. So the first thing you see when I log in is there's this virtual bulletin board. It's a list of all the members inside my dojo, and it's a list of all their ranks as well. One thing I like to do is just kind of look through and check on how everybody is progressing. And cool, it looks like Nick Williams there at the bottom just got his Yodan rank. It's really exciting. But I'm here for a reason, so I'm going to scroll up to the top, go to my info page. Awesome. I'm going to scroll down and I'm looking for teacher rank. So let's see, I'm going down, my dojo, my Qdo rank, teacher rank. So currently I don't have one, but that's about to change. So let's hit the edit icon. Sweet. So let's click on the teaching rank. I received the first rank, which is Renshi. So we're going to select that. And today, I literally just passed it today. So I'm really excited to update my information and allow it easily accessible by all the people in my dojo. So let's hit submit. Successful. Awesome. Looks like I have a Renshi rank. I think that's all I need to do today. So I'm going to go scroll up to the top and log on out. And I'm going to pass the presentation on over to Hanan to show some more of our app.
Thank you, Carl. So today I'll be showing our app from an administrative viewpoint. We have 2 levels of administration built into our application. We have a dojo admin, which is sort of the teacher of the class that manages the students in their class. Then we have a national admin or a site-wide admin, and they manage all of the dojos as well as make changes on a national level. So let's go ahead and log into my account. So once logged in, we are brought to this national dojo list. From here, we can view all of the dojos that are part of the AKR, as well as some dojos that are in other countries, such as Chile or Brazil. I am a teacher at the Minnesota Qdo Renmei, so we're going to find it on this list and we're going to navigate to it. Sweet, and there it is. We're going to hit the Manage button, and it's going to bring us to the dojo. So once we're in the dojo, we can see all of my students, as well as their ranks, their dues, and their status. I have a couple managerial things I need to do today. And the first on the list is we have a student that's been with us for a few months now, and he's really taken to Qdo, and I think he's going to be around for a while. So we asked him to sign up for the portal, and he did the initial steps, and now his account is currently inactive, so we're going to have to activate him. So we're going to find Alex in the non-active members list, and we're going to hit activate. Once activated, his account now has the full permissions of a member and a student. So the next time when he logs in, the app's going to be a little bit different. He'll be able to see all the students in his class, as well as manage all of his information. So Alex came through us through his friend Carl, who got him into Qdo. So we want to make note of this so we can let all the instructors know, and anytime they look at the app, they can see that too. So we're going to hit the Add Notes button. From here, we're going to enter in a note. This is pretty basic, just that he's Carl's friend and he came to him through us. And we're going to quick save that up. Perfect. Next up on the list, we have a user that is taking an extended leave of absence, and he probably won't be around for several months. So we're going to go ahead and deactivate him. That's Eric. And we don't want to be like messing with his information while he's gone or have him worry about his dues. So we're going to just deactivate Eric. This way, we don't have to worry about managing his information, and he doesn't have to worry about updating anything on his end. And all of his information is preserved, so when he does come back to us, we can just easily reactivate him, and he's just hopped back into the class. Speaking of dues, our yearly cycle is coming up to completion, so we want to let everyone know that the dues are going to be due again. So we're going to navigate to the Set Dues button. From here, we can indicate an amount as well as a date of early spring next year. And we're going to update this information for all of my students in my dojo. So the next time my students log in to their app, they'll see that they have a dues that needs to be paid, and they can go ahead and get that to us. The last bit of work that we have to do is we have some good news. Our star student, Carl, received his teaching license, and he's going to open up his own dojo. So in order for him to be able to manage his own dojo, we need to upgrade his account. So we're going to find him on the list, and we're going to promote him up to a dojo admin. Once promoted, this will give his account the full permissions to do all of the changes that I've been doing for my own dojo. And once we confirm this upgrade, there's one last thing we need to do. We're going to navigate back to the national dojo list. And we're going to create a dojo for Carl and his students. So we're going to hit the Create Dojo button at the top. We're prompted with some inputs. We're just going to fill out some basic information. Carl decided to call his dojo Kyoto Beck, and it's going to be in the Minnesota region. From this select, we can see a list of accounts that are eligible to admin this dojo. We're going to find Carl's account, and we're going to assign him to be the admin for this dojo. We're going to go ahead and create this dojo. And now when Carl logs in, his account will be upgraded to dojo admin, so he can perform any dojo administrative tasks, as well as his dojo will be created for him to fill with his students and, teach them about the great thing that's Kyoto. So that's all that I have from the administrative point of view. I'm going to pass it back over to Emerson to finish it up.
All right, thanks, Hanan. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we would like to thank Carly Bourne for seeking out our team to help collaborate on this application and to work on developing it together. If you are interested in Kyudo at all, you can learn more about the Minnesota Kyudo Renmei at mnkyudo.org. You can learn more about the American Kyudo Federation at kydousa.com. And if you're at all interested in looking at our code, you can go to the link I have here, which is at github.com/American Kyudo Renmei portal/AKR portal. We've, of course, like to thank our instructors, Chris and Dane, for sharing all of their wonderful knowledge with us during this program. It has been one heck of a ride. Love to thank all of our cohort mates here in the Rabin cohort for being such supportive individuals and working so hard on their projects. And thank you so much to all of you for coming today and seeing what junior developers are up to right now. This has been Emerson Agard, Carl Beck, Hanan Mir, and Alex Severson, and we are Team Kyudo Renmei. Thank you very much.
Awesome work. Thank you, Team Kyudo Renmei. Fabulous work. So one of the things that I stress often in the program is that software is not for computers. The work that we do is not for a machine. It is not for a computer or the internet. It is really for human beings. And with these projects, in order for them to be accomplished, we have to actually have empathy and the understanding that humans will be using this, and how can we best integrate into what humans need in order for there to be success with this software that we write. Because if you don't understand the problem, you really won't ever build a solution that will work. And all of these projects have real empathy behind them. And I'm gonna kick it off for our last group here, Team Friendly Wager.
Thanks, Dane. So good afternoon. Welcome, and thank you for coming to our presentations today. My name is Sam Moss, and soon you will meet Matt Kramer, Hans Akola, and DeWitt Kane. We are also from the Rabin cohort.
Cool beans.
Thank you. And together we are Group Friendly Wager. So we were approached by Paul Kelly. He's a senior business analyst at a local digital business consultancy, and he approached us with an idea regarding sports betting amongst friends. So Paul enjoys betting against his friends, and he's also noticed an increase in the popularity of sports betting over the past couple of years. Now, it's no coincidence that this increase in popularity coincides with the increase in legalization of sports betting across the USA. In fact, today, 22 total states have legalized sports gambling, with another 18 set to consider legislation before the end of 2021. However, as popularity grows and more people begin to bet, Paul's also noticed that there really isn't a solid option to track bets between friends. Right, so right now friends can make a bet in person, but remembering the terms can be difficult. When game day comes around, one friend might remember the terms differently than the other. Obviously, text messaging is a logical option, but when making multiple bets with multiple friends, things can kind of end up in, a flood of notifications with, different message conversations over here and group threads over here with these people. And that's just half the bet. Right. So once the sporting event's over, you then have to go back through all those messages to determine, who the winner is, the payout, who owes who, what exactly do they owe. So you can see it just kind of gets complicated rather quickly with information all over the place. So the solution Paul came to us with was an idea for a startup called Friendly Wager. Now, Friendly Wager is a social networking and sports betting application where users first search and create friendships with each other. Once they are friends, they can then create and accept bets on professional sporting events. Friendly Wager will track these bets and declare a winner based on the result of the sporting event. So before I pass it out to Hans for a demonstration of the Friendly Wager application, I just want to give a couple quick definitions in regards to sports betting. First, bets are placed using units, which is just a generic measurement of the size of the bet. The actual definition of what a unit is agreed upon outside of the application between friends. Secondly, bets can be placed on either the spread or the over-under. So the spread is just simply a predetermined amount of points that a team must win or not lose by. So for example, if we have a Vikings versus Packers game and say the spread is 7 points in favor of the Vikings, as you see it here, that would simply mean that in order for a bet placed on the Vikings to be a winner, the Vikings would not only have to win the game, but they'd also have to win by more than 7 points. And lastly, the over-under simply means betting on the total amount of points scored in the game. So if we take a look at that same Vikings versus Packers game and say it has an over-under of 50 points, a bet can be placed on the fact that either the total points scored in the game will be over or under that amount. So without further ado, I'd like to pass out to Hans for a demonstration of the Friendly Wager application. Hans?
Hey, thanks, Sam. My name is Hans, and I'll be demonstrating Friendly Wager from the perspective of accepting an NFL bet from a friend. I just got done talking to my roommate, Matt, and we've been living together for about 2 years, I'd say, but I keep hearing him complain about how he keeps losing NFL bets. He was telling me how he's excited for the upcoming Giants and Eagles game this Thursday night and asked me if I wanted to accept his bet for the Giants to win. He also mentioned he's placing his bet on this new upcoming application called Friendly Wager. I've heard of Friendly Wager a little bit, but I haven't added Matt as a friend yet. Sounds like he's not very good at sports betting either, so I'm definitely down to accept his bet for the Giants to win this Thursday night. So here I am, starting on the login page. Let's log in and we can check out the application. Now that I'm logged in, I land on the home page called the board. So here I can see all the open bets from my friends that I have added in the app. I can see a few different bets here. One from Christy, looks like that's for Detroit and Atlanta. I also see one farther down from Dane Smith. Looks like he wants to bet 150 units. That's a lot of units. I'm guessing Dane has pretty deep pockets. But I am looking for one specific bet from Matt, and like I said, I'm not friends with him, so let's go over to the friends view and we can add him. Here I see all my current friends. I do not have Matt added yet, so let's click on that plus button up top. Here I'm actually able to search him, which is a really neat feature. So let's search by his name. Matt Kramer, that's who I'm looking for. I recognize that picture. Awesome, let's add him. Sweet, so now once he's added, we can actually go back to the friends list and we can click on his name. And this will bring us to a new page called the friend statistics page. Here we can see all my history with Matt, but I did just add him. So right now there's not much history there. As I look at the top here, I see he has 73 total bets since he started using the application. But from what I heard him talking about earlier about losing all those bets, out of those 73, I'd assume he probably lost most of them, unfortunately. Now I'm just looking towards the bottom. I do see that open bet from Matt Kramer. Let's click on this just to confirm that it is the right one. Yep, looks like he's going for the Giants to win for a +4 spread for 10 units. That looks like the one we're talking about. Let's accept that. Great. Now I see under the active bets column there that's updated from 0 to 1. So that just lets me know that we have that active bet going. Awesome. Well, I'm going to pass it on to Matt, and he's going to finish demoing the application.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Matt. So I just got word from my roommate Hans that he's accepted my bet. So Hans talks a lot of smack, but he can't back it up. So between me and all of you, Hans isn't exactly what many people would call an all-star when it comes to sports betting. So I want to log in and I want to go to that specific game to check out if that's accepted. So I see some open bets here, but I want to go to that specific game. So I see the Giants and Eagles right at the top, so I'm going to click on that game. No open bets for my friends on this game, but I want to check out my specific bets. Great, I can see here that I do have one active bet, and that's between Hans and I. So that looks great, but while I'm here, what I want to do is I want to make another bet on another game. So if I go back to the games, I can see each game displayed as well as the time and the betting odds. I've had pretty good luck with Sunday night games, so I want to check out what we have for Sunday night. Cool, I see that we have the Buccaneers and Raiders. So I'm going to click on that. Tom Brady's on the Bucs, so I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I do see that I do have one friend that has an open bet, but I want to create my own bet. So Hans and I, we bet on the spread, but for this one, I want to bet on the over/under. So again, Bucs have Tom Brady. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to take the over. And I think I'm going to bet 50 units on this game. I'm going to create that bet. Look over the terms, and that all looks good. I'm going to confirm this bet. Cool. So that moved to open bets. Any of my friends can accept that bet if they wish. But I want to look at all of the bets that I've made. So I can see in this page that it has that open bet that I just created. Again, any of my friends can accept that bet. And then I can go over to active. And this is the bet between Hans and I. That will update as soon as that game is finished on Thursday. But I also want to see how I did for last week. So if I go to the history tab, I can see all of the bets that I've made and if I've won or lost those games. I can see here that I've won most of the games, but I have a couple losses as well. So next week I want to get wins across the board. But I want to pass it over to DeWitt. He's going to talk a little bit more about that.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks, Hans, for giving us that demonstration of the app. 3 weeks ago, when Paul came to us with his idea for Friendly Wager, we were stoked to have the opportunity to make his vision into reality. It was a great idea, and since then, we've worked diligently to solve some of those problems he brought up. Like you said, it's difficult to figure out when you're betting with friends who had which team, how much the bet was for, and at the end of the day, settling up's a nightmare. Luckily, Friendly Wager provides clean, concise solutions to those problems. You can easily manage your friends, and you can keep track of your bets, whether they're open, active, or history. It also keeps track of your lifetime units overall, so you can brag a little bit if you need to. One of the parts of Friendly Wager that's most exciting is that it's completely automated. The NFL's schedule, games, and scores are automatically uploaded to the app and compiled with some of the top sports betting odds. This means that the app can automatically determine the bet winners and keep track of unit history for the users. There's no more ambiguity, and you don't have to worry about your friend backing out, even if the Vikings lose. We do want to give thanks to Paul Kelly for giving us the opportunity to bring his vision into reality. Thanks to Prime Digital Academy, especially Dane and Chris, for giving us the tools and the support to build this application. And thanks to all the cool beans of the Rabin cohort for providing us support through the last 20 weeks. From all of us on Team Friendly Wager, Sam Moss, Matt Kramer, Hans Acola, and myself, DeWitt Kane, thanks for joining us for this presentation.
Woo! Bravo. Thank you so much, Team Friendly Wager. And let's all unmute and give a big round of applause for the whole Rabin cohort. Woo!
Yay!
Yeah, cool beans.
Cool beans. So exciting. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know that the students are very proud of all their work. I'm sure that if you have questions about the work or want to talk to them, they would be more than willing to talk about the work that they've done. So feel free to seek them out. But if you would believe it, their day's not done because they have to quickly turn around here and in about 30 minutes or so, have a slew of interviews to get kicked off with. So I'm sure that they're raring to go for those as well. So we're going to say goodbye, but thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again very soon. Cheers.